Our lesson tonight is grammar, and it's an important lesson, and it's about gerunds, do you know what is a gerund? Yeah, can you tell me what is a gerund? Can you give me an example? Hello, Mr. Falah, how are you? Okay, swimming is a good example of a gerund because the verb is swim, and when we add ing, it becomes swimming. So any verb in the infinitive or in the present, when we add ing, it becomes a gerund. Good. So, as you can see, our objectives for this lesson tonight is about gerunds. So, gerunds that we use after verbs and infinitives also that we use after verbs. Okay, now, are you ready to learn? Okay, yes. All right, now let's go and see what is the gerund and what is the infinitive. As we have seen, our title for this unit, which is Going Green, now we need to know how to go green, and we talked too much in the previous lessons on Sunday and Monday about how people go green. Okay? Going green is to preserve nature, preserve water, and to recycle and not to waste anything that can contaminate the nature. Okay? So are you green or have? I'm not saying you're like Hulk or green is to recycle. Do you recycle in your house? Yes, you are good. So how can you recycle? What do you do in your house, in your school, on the street? You save water. Good. So you don't let the faucet drip water, and you save water when you brush your teeth. You don't leave it open, and you don't let people wash their car with too much water. Actually, we talked thoroughly in the previous two lessons about going green. Now let's move on and see what is the grammar today is about gerunds, as you said, swimming. So any verb, swim, swimming, read, reading, ride, writing, cook, cooking. And the infinitives after verbs, which is going to see in a minute. So the gerunds after verbs, gerunds are the ing form, like you said, swim, swimming, of a verb. They act like nouns and answer the questions or the question what. What are you making? What are you cooking? What are you playing? So the answer for the what is always most of the time is a gerund. And they are nouns. I like cooking. Okay? Cooking is nice. So sometimes they are nouns and also sometimes they are subjects. For example, I recommend turning off the lights when you leave the room. So this is how you keep the nature. This is how you are green. When you turn off the lights, you save energy. So if you look, I recommend, this is subject verb, turning off. This is almost like a noun, but we call this a gerund. Why we call this as a gerund? Because turn is the verb, turn off, and we add ing, so it becomes turning off. I recommend turning off the lights when you leave the room. 2, our class enjoys learning about ways to help the environment. So in the second sentence, where is the gerund? Can you tell me where is the gerund? Learning, that's right. Very good. Thank you very much. So learning is learn plus ing, so it's a verb with ing, so it becomes a gerund. Thank you, Mr. Falah. Okay. Now, let's see more examples. Most of the time, all these verbs, we use the gerunds after center verbs like advise, enjoy, intend, quit, begin, finish, keep, recommend. You have to memorize these lists of verbs because after these verbs, we always use gerunds. So I advise making, I enjoy watching, I intend traveling, I quit smoking, I begin swimming, I finished reading, I kept working, I recommend going. Also, I can't stand seeing, I go hiking, I like jogging, I started studying, I consider making, I hate working, I love fishing, I stopped eating. And so after this list of verbs, we always use gerund. Now, can you use one of these verbs and make, yes, smoking. Can you use one of these verbs and make a sentence and use after these verbs any gerund and make a nice little sentence? Okay, Rahab, I'll give you time. I like dancing. Yes, most girls love dancing. Okay, so dancing is the gerund, Dance is the verb with ing, dancing. I like dancing. Okay. All right. So you have to learn this list of verbs. So you know that this list of verbs, we use a gerund after them. Like I like cooking, I like dancing, and so on. So these infinitives now, we move to our objective 2, which is infinitive after verbs. What is an infinitive? An infinitive is to plus the base form of the verb. To work, to eat, to go, to play, to watch, and so on. So if we have a simple present verb preceded by to, we call this the infinitive form of the verb. So like gerunds, infinitives act like nouns and answer the question what. So infinitives and gerunds, they both act like nouns and they answer the question what. Let's see more infinitive with to. Do not forget to reuse the plastic container. Do they intend to buy? So in the first sentence, where is the infinitive form? And here comes a sentence from Mr. Falah. I prefer play football to swimming. No, I prefer playing football to swimming. And you corrected this. That's okay, I didn't see this. Okay, so Mr. Falah, in the first sentence, don't forget to reuse the plastic container. Where is the infinitive form? And also for reuse. Okay, it's not refuse. Reuse that plastic container. Okay, so do not forget to reuse the plastic container, because plastic bottles, plastic bags, plastic containers are always recyclable items. Now we have the sentence number 2. Do they intend to buy a hybrid car? Where is the infinitive form in sentence number 2, Rahab? I'm sure they did not like the new time. To buy, yes. Yes, Rahab, that's it. In the bold, in the black bold line. Do they intend to buy, to make, to watch, to eat? You can have too many verbs with the infinitive form. Now let's move on to another thing. Also, we use infinitives with verbs like agree, continue, intend, offer, ask. Ask is both. Decide, learn, plan, try. Okay? So again, attempt, accept, expect, like, prefer, warn, begin, forget, love, promise, cannot stand, hate, need, and remember. So again, the list of the verbs, you have to memorize it. This is very important for you because these verbs are taken from your book. Agree, continue, intend, offer, start, ask, decide, learn, plan, and try. So agree to do something. You need a verb with to. I agreed to buy a new house. I continued to study English. I intended to buy a new guitar. I offered to make a new statement. I started to learn French. I asked to have another cup of coffee. Or I asked having, because if you have this artistic, it means, or this star, it means you can use both. You can use infinitive and you can use gerunds. So if I say, I asked having a cup of coffee and I asked to have another cup of coffee. Decide to, learn to, plan to, try to. You have to learn these verbs. Attempt to, expect, coming, expect to come. Like to, prefer to, want, making and want to make. Begin to, forget to, love to, promise to, can't stand to, hate to, and need to, and remember to. So these verbs can be followed by an object with the artistic or before an infinitive. So you can say they want to plant a garden, and you can say they want us to plant a garden. Of course, the only difference between these two sentences is the us. They want me, they want you, they want us, they want them to plant a garden, to make a new fence, to they want us to study more, and so on. So infinitives and gerunds are almost the same, Now I want you to, I'm sure you can't read, I want you to circle the correct verb form. Sometimes both the gerund and the infinitive are possible. Like number one, do you want having or to have a positive impact on the environment? What do you think, number one? Do you want having or do you want to have a positive impact on the environment? You have here, before you want this, you want to remember the list of the verbs. So we have two lists of the verbs. The first list of the verb, which is with the infinitives, with the gerunds, and the second list of the verb is with the infinitives. So the first one, Rahab suggests to have, yes, because do you want to have, okay, a positive impact? Want is one of the verbs in the list that we use after it, infinitive. So do you want to have a positive impact on the environment? I suggest to give, or I suggest giving. I suggest giving, that's what Rahab suggests, and that's right. Thank you very much. Very good, Rahab. Okay, you're the only one here. So I suggest giving these steps a try. Number three, do you hate throwing or to throw away all clothes in the garbage? This is the verb hate. So do we use gerund or infinitive after hate? Do you hate throwing away all clothes or do you hate to throw? Good. Rahab suggests that this is, do you hate throwing? That's right. Thank you very much. So, do you hate throwing? Because the verb hate, we use a gerund with ing. Clothes, all clothes in the garbage. Consider. Now, this is the verb consider. Consider giving or consider to give clothes that no longer fit you to other people who can wear them. So, consider giving or consider to give. So far, Rahab, you're very good. You're doing well. So take your time, think about it. The verb consider, we use giving, which is a gerund, or to give, which is a good, both of you. Thank you, Falah, and thank you, Rahab. So consider, this should be down, okay? Consider giving, all right? To clothes that no longer fit you to other people who can wear them. Thank you. So sometimes also, as we said, both can work, like in example number 3. Now, quit, the verb quit, if you remember, quit using disposable batteries or quit to use disposable batteries. Which one is correct? The verb quit. Quit using, quit to use. Quit using or quit to use disposable batteries. So the verb quit, I don't think so. Yes, quit using. Quit using, like quit smoking, quit eating, quit working, and so on. So quit using disposable batteries. Begin using or begin to use rechargeable batteries. So the verb begin. We say begin using or begin to use rechargeable batteries. It's all about the verbs. You have to remember the verbs. So we have two lists of verbs. The first list of a verb, we use it for the, so you're saying begin using a rechargeable batteries. That's right. Okay. 7, learn buying or learn to buy products with less packaging. These are all advice, all great advice to use or to be green. So you can buy or buying, learn buying or to buy products with less packaging. So that's right. Okay, learn to buy products with less packaging because you don't have to use too many papers and use a lot of plastic covers. And you know, if you use this too many papers and plastic covers, this means this is not green. You know, papers come from trees, so the more you use packages with too many plastics and paper, it means we lose more trees. Now, attempt. Remember the attempt, like sometimes use is both used for, so we say use and using, or use or to use, using or to use. Both this verb can be used with some verbs. Begin using or begin to use rechargeable batteries. Learn to buy products with less packaging. Attempt buying or attempt to buy large containers of water, juice, and soda instead of individual serving size containers. So what do you think? Attempt buying or attempt to buy? Or maybe both work? What do you think? The verb attempt. It's all about the verb. If you remember the list of the verb, then you can remember, is it to buy or buying, cook or to cook or cooking. So attempt buying or attempt to buy large containers of water, juice, and soda instead of individual serving size. So if you buy a big one, so we have say buying. Actually, this is not buying. You missed a Y, but it is attempt to buy a large container of individual containers of water and juice. Okay? So attempt, the verb attempt goes for to, attempt to buy. And number 9, learn avoiding or to avoid. Learn avoiding or learn to avoid creating trash whenever possible. So you remember the verb learn. Is it learn to avoid or learn avoiding? To, yes, learn to avoid. Learn to avoid creating trash whenever possible. Try not to use too many trash so you cannot create too much garbage. For example, when ordering food, avoid taking or avoid to take unnecessary utensils and napkins. What do you think? The verb avoid goes with infinitive or with a gerund or maybe both. Avoid taking any unnecessary. Rahab says avoid taking, which is right. Okay, now let's write each sentence another way using the verb giving a gerund or infinitive. For example, from now on, Jack is going to use only fluorescent light bulbs. So you can change it like this. Jack is going to start. So you have to use the verb start here with the sentence here and change it. So Jack is going to start using only fluorescent light bulbs. Okay? The sentence was, from now on, Jack is going to use, so we deleted from now on, then we said Jack is going to start using, start making, start, and so on. And the verbs here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, plan to, prefer to, recommend to, or keep to. So let's try number 1. We are going to set the air conditioner on a timer at night. We are going to set the air conditioner on a timer at night. You can make it in 2 ways. Use the given verb and a gerund or an infinitive. So we can say we are planning, okay, we are planning to set, or we're going to plan to set, okay, we're going to plan to set. So let's see number 1 so we can do 2 and 3. So we plan to set the air conditioner on a timer at night. You can also omit going to if you like. So we plan to set the air conditioner. So plan to set. This is how we use the infinitive. Okay? You can sometimes use both, either the gerund or the infinitive. Let's see number 2. I don't really read newspaper. I like reading the news online better. So how you change it and use the verb prefer. So number 2, I don't really read newspapers. I like reading the news online better. So now we're going to use the verb prefer, and again and again and again. It's all about the list of the verbs. Okay, it's all about the list of the verbs. If you remember, you can do it very easily. I don't really read the newspapers. I like reading the news online better. I prefer reading. That's good. That's very nice. Thank you, Rahab. So I prefer reading the news online or to reading the newspaper. Okay, to reading newspaper. Arya, number 3, thinks it's a good idea to print on both sides of the paper. So this is also another way to save paper and ink. So let's try the verb recommend. Arya thinks it's a good idea that you can omit all of this. To print on both sides of the paper. Recommend. Excellent. Arya recommends, but you should start with capital. I know you don't like to use the rest of the sentence. So Arya recommends printing, not to print. Okay, this is good because after recommend we use gerund. That's very good. Very nice. So Arya recommends printing on both sides of the paper. The last one, I cannot believe I left the lights on again. And now you have to use the verb keep. I can't believe I left the lights on again. I can't believe I kept the lights on again. I can't believe to keep the lights on again. We're running out of time. So the last sentence, thank you, Rahab, you did very well. You're the only one. I can't believe I keep leaving, or I kept leaving the lights on. Okay, again, it's just a blah, blah. All right? So that was an example how to use both the gerunds and the infinitives. We can also make suggestions by saying you might want to reconsider or consider making. You might want to consider working. And you can say, how about coming? How about going? How about to make? How about, and so on. We need the gerund here. And don't you think it would be a good idea to something, so we use infinitive. If you don't mind, I think you will find something else. This is also without a gerund or infinitive, but it's a way to make suggestion. And the last one, if you don't mind, I would like to suggest making. I would like to suggest going. I would like to suggest having, and so on. So again, we can make also suggestions with gerunds and infinitive by saying, you might want to consider going. You might want to consider coming. And we can say, how about making? How about traveling? How about walking? And also you can make another idea. Think that it would be a good idea to break this door. It's a good idea to do this and to do that. Okay? So these are just another one. So at the end, gerunds after, we talked about gerunds after the verbs, infinitives after the verbs, like to go, to eat, to walk. And finally, we try to give examples and practice them, like changing sentences, and learn the two lists of the verbs. It's a collection of 3 books: Traveler, Flying High, Make It Go. And you can always watch this online, offline, and you have Twitter account on all of this.